I'm 11 years old and just walking to school on a normal old day. I walk over to the soccer field, which I normally did, and just get ready to start the game and, just like doing stuff that 11-year-old Colby was doing. And out of the corner of my eye, I see my best friend at the time at school at an hour that he normally wouldn't show up, because I usually got there pretty early and he always got there like right before the bell would ring, and it was just rare to see him. So I go over and just start talking to him, and before I can even say anything, he comes over. He's like, Colby, guess what? And still a little tired and not expecting him to even be here, not to mention have this much energy. I'm like, okay, what do you need to tell me? Before I even say a word, he grabs me on the shoulders and starts shaking me and keeps telling me, I got 5 likes. And I'm like, okay, that's cool. That's great, man. And he was explaining how he had just got an Instagram account the day before and had got 5 likes on his first post and was absolutely ecstatic about it. Now at the time, I didn't think much about this. He was my best friend, so I was happy to see him happy anyway. But over the next couple months, he would constantly ask me, did I get an Instagram account? Me at the time, being 11, had no particular interest in being on Instagram. And after a couple months had gone by and I'd constantly hear him talking about it, myself decided it would be a good idea to check out what all this buzz was about. And I finally decided to follow his recommendation and get an Instagram account. And what my 11-year-old self didn't comprehend or wasn't expecting at the time was that would be the start of my phone addiction and my social media addiction at the time, until I was able to quit about at the age of 14. From about the age of 11 to around 14, I was probably spending I'd say 7 to 8 hours on screens throughout the whole day, a combination of watching YouTube, playing video games and TV and social media and stuff. And Instagram was a big part of this. And being on social media at that young of an age caused me at that age to develop a lot of behaviors that I see and it's just really common in young people today, which includes anxiety and constantly overthinking in social situations, and just a really big epidemic of loneliness and stuff like that. And it all started just because my best friend had Instagram and he thought it was cool. So naturally, I took a liking to it, and without even knowing it, started to go down a path that had a negative effect on my life for a few years until I was eventually able to break away from it. And although this story is just about 11-year-old me whose best friend was happy he got 5 likes, it illustrates a concept that can lead your life down a very negative path if you're not careful about the way that you navigate it. And it simply comes down to being careful who you spend your time with. There's a really great quote that I really like by a guy named Jim Rohn. I've mentioned this quote in 5-6 videos, and I finally looked it up to see who said it. And the quote goes, "You are an average of the 5 people you spend the most time with." And when it comes to adapting traits and when it comes to the mindsets and the lifestyle we live, this really couldn't be more true, especially with the impacts of social media and consuming content has had on our generation. Before, in the past, we would mostly we'd learn things from our parents and our family, right? Then we'd start to make friends in school, and we naturally kind of adapt to what we thought they thought was cool. This happens with taste and style and music. If your friend is really into rock and roll music and you're not, you don't really know what music you like, if they're playing it and talking about it all the time, you're naturally going to be more geared to start liking it. It's just human nature. We naturally kind of replicate the behavior of those that we see around us, and we learn through watching what other people do and then just doing that ourselves. And the thing in our modern day is bad habits and getting into these things is easier than ever. You can get onto social media not knowing that it's going to ruin your life like I did. There's kids who are 10 years old already starting to vape, with video games and all these different influences, and there is no shortage of bad habits and bad influences to go around. And the thing is, most of us when we're young, we don't get into these things ourselves. If you ask anyone who smokes cigarettes why they started smoking, they're most likely going to tell you that it's because their friends were smoking and then they said they should smoke too. And it's just naturally, that's the way that habits are formed. We see someone else doing something and naturally, biologically, we're like, oh, we should follow our tribe. And not necessarily because we just want to be like them, but since that's who we are around, they're naturally just going to have an influence on the way that we live and the way that we act. And if you've made it far in a video like this, I'm going to assume that you don't really resonate with most people around you. You probably have some pretty big goals, some aspirations, and you're looking forward to the future. You have something that you want to work hard on, and you're looking forward to whatever you're going to pursue in the future. Probably got some great mindsets, and you're doing well in school. And for me, when I was just like starting high school and stuff, this is the place that I was at. And I started to see my life going in kind of a positive trajectory. But something that I kind of really found hard was just finding other people that I resonate and finding people who want to live the same kind of life that I do, and stepping away from these bad habits and starting to get in better physical shape and get better mental health and stuff, and start working on more music and doing these things. And a lot of people around me weren't like that. They weren't focused on doing that. And for me, the first kind of time where I really started to make a lot of progress was the first COVID lockdown of 2020. It started in March. And once school and everything shut down, I really didn't have anyone to talk to. And I'd always been someone who worked hard and stuff. But once that lockdown came, I wasn't really exposed to any of the influences that I was before. I was able to be a lot more authentic to myself. And that just showed in the progress that I made. I started to get a lot better at what I was pursuing at the time, which was basketball and weightlifting. I also started to get a lot better at music, which would kind of take the center stage a little bit further down the line. And it was a period of my life where I really developed a lot and really grew a lot, and was really able to step away from a lot of those bad habits. And it simply came from just not being around people who were doing those things. So with all that being said, how do you go about this? How do you make sure that you're surrounded with positive influences and people that are actually going to benefit your life? And let me tell you right now, it's difficult. It can be a lonely path. It can be a lonely road to go down this path where you don't really resonate with a lot of the people who are around you. But in all honesty, it's better to spend more time by yourself than to spend time with people that make you feel lonely. I kind of butchered that quote as well. I don't know who said that one, but it just goes to show that you need to follow your path, whatever path you are on, and whatever you hope to get in the future. The people that you hang around are directly going to impact your future trajectory. So that is why it is extremely important just to be conscious of the people you hang around. And I will say that it's hard to find people like this in real life, because most people, once you're going through high school and university, they all want to party. They're all still spending lots of time on their phone. And if you're working hard on something like, oh yeah, I'm making music and I'm working like really hard on it, I'm trying to make money online and stuff, most people won't really be as hyped up and interested and excited about your future as you are. And it can feel kind of demotivating to not really have anyone that you can share these moments with. And it is possible to find people that you resonate with in terms of making progress and have those good influences around them. And you can even be that good influence to other people, which I've had in my life, and I've also been able to do for a lot of people around me. It's kind of been a two-way street where I've gotten a lot of their qualities and they've also been influenced by things I do, and we've both kind of had like a positive trade-off. But our generation also has an advantage that a lot of people didn't have in the past. We have the internet. You're watching a video right now by someone on the internet who you probably would have never met in real life, just because you have this phone and you have YouTube. And that is the beauty that the internet can provide if you're willing to use it in the right way. If you've made it this far in this video, I'm gonna assume you resonate with people like me. And the thing is, there are thousands, if not millions of people out there just like me, congregating in places on the internet that you can go and find. I have a free community that you can join this channel. You don't have to feel obligated if you don't want to, but all the people in there are just like you and me. They resonate with this kind of stuff. They want to improve their life. They don't want to fall into a lot of the habits that a lot of people are getting into in our modern day. And they are just like you and me, and sharing their stories and like sharing wins and advice and everything in the community, and growing together as a tribe, not just being on that own individual path anymore. I used to be there. I used to have that lone wolf kind of mindset where I thought I just needed to do everything on my own and couldn't relate to anyone around me. And to be honest, it sucks. It sucks being that lone wolf who's just grinding in the dark and like doing everything on your own. And it is far more beneficial and far more enjoyable and you grow a lot faster when you have people that you can relate to. So if you want to join that community, scroll down and click the top link in the description. Now, with that being said, if you don't know already, my name is Colby Wallace. I'm an 18-year-old artist from Canada, and if you like videos like this, you might as well subscribe. I've got a lot more content coming soon, as well as some original music, some covers, a lot of cool stuff that I'm really excited about on the way. My original music is also linked in the description, and with that being said, never stop creating, my friend, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.